At least we'll get a first-hand experience of how it's gonna be doing your alternator or your.
No, doing the starter was funny as shit. That was it out and then plugging everything in and then wrapping it up with the heat shield.
Oh yeah.
With the block in here, guys. That was interesting shit. But that was it. Wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be though. It wasn't that bad. But this alternator though, oh yeah, that's gonna be a bitch.
Nah, yeah.
You see, guys, when you put a motor like this in here, you got to remember as well that the Z's stock VQ35DE was a wide ass hunk of metal. This is just very long, but you don't have that much real estate on the side, but you have more than you did with the VQ. So it kind of balanced itself out. If you see that there. So like for normal maintenance and tune-ups, spark plugs, doing an oil change, all that is simple because you see you got, everything is right here. You can take everything out relatively easy. Well, let's say you decide to go with some better headers in the future. I'm good with the headers I have now, but let's say you, the viewer, wants to go with some better headers with your LS swap. Just go ahead and do it when you're swapping the motor. Otherwise, later on, yeah, you're gonna have some fun, buddy. You're gonna have some fun. Alternator's out. Edward was able to get the alternator out. How long did you think that took you, Edward?
15-20 minutes.
So 15-20 minutes relatively to get this alternator out. But remember,
with no radiator, our oil filter's not mounted.
Exactly.
No fans. So you had the fans and everything. You'd probably be pulling all that out first.
So guys, just keep that in mind.
Hey, let's try to plug it in and not cut it. Maybe we gotta just plug it in and put it in.
Oh, okay, that could work too.
Voila! We cleared.
Good shit.
We didn't even have to cut it. I mean, it's barely cleared.
Yeah, just enough.
Yeah. Hey.
I'll hold it for you.
Shorten that bolt. I do have to run it through, I gotta run it through a die to make sure the threads are still gonna be good.
Bolt is going to be the ground bolt for this alternator going into, where'd she go? This plug right here. Yeah. Our starter, our alternator is back on. Clears, so you don't actually have to cut that notch. Just make sure before you put the alternator in, you plug it in.
Yeah.
So guys, what we're talking about right now is currently we have these aftermarket radiator from Grassroots Performance, but we bought it off of Drift HQ. So this is what's going into Z to compensate for the LS swap. And currently We're trying to get a good estimate of what kind of fans we're gonna need to run on this, because this is a smaller radiator than the actual Mishimoto radiator that was in this car. It's a better cooling capacity radiator than the Mishimoto, because you can see how wide it is. But right now we're currently trying to figure out what kind of size fans to go with. See, this right now is 10-inch fans, universal, and this barely gives us enough clearance. So going with 12s would be a little bit more difficult, because the 12s are a lot bigger than the 10s. So right now we're just doing some estimation to see what fan size that we should go with. But I'm thinking we'll probably settle on going with the 10s. Get this thing going.
Foot 4, 1 foot 9.5. This is a 10, right?
Yeah.
And,
Those are
this
12s.
is 12.
Yeah, those are 12s.
You sure these are 12?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they are. Each individual is gonna be 14 to 14.5 inch. Just the body of one fan.
We're not gonna be able to fit two of those on here.
We'll do a ghetto mock-up with the pieces of cardboard. 14, right? 14, 14 and a half. So we got 2'3", roughly.
Okay.
What's that, 27 inches?
You're asking the wrong person.
2 foot is 24 plus 3 inch, 27 minus 14. We're short an inch. We're not gonna be able to fit 14.
So we'll be better off getting maybe
210.
210s.
Yeah.
So I'll message him and see if he has 210s laying around.
Yeah.
That we can get
210s in a shroud. Because we're trying to get it like
perfect.
If we did 212s, we'd be far out. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Where we're sticking out very far. We do 210s.
What's the smallest you can go? 8?
We want to go as big as we can. That would fit. Yeah.
To help with the cooling.
Yeah.